Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk about the recent bit of news regarding John Carmack, and how woke activists have decided to try to cancel him over the fact that he has announced that he will in fact be attending BasedCon, a sci-fi themed convention that is known for being against wokeness. So it's not exactly a surprise that the usual suspects have decided to try to cancel John Carmack over this. However, what is of note is that John Carmack decided to respond and stand up to the attempt to cancel him. He did so with this particular statement on Twitter. And there are a few things to go over with regards to this statement, as it is a little bit lengthy. First of all, it is worth noting that he doesn't exactly agree with the convention being as intentionally provocative as it is. Though it is worth noting that in the last paragraph of this tweet, John Carmack does end up defending this particular convention a little bit as well, pointing out that it isn't as political as a lot of people seem to think it is. And it's also worth noting that in the original announcement tweet, John Carmack did point out that he had fun last time that he was at that convention as well. So it's safe to say that John Carmack is defending the convention at least a little bit, even if he considers the idea behind it to be a bit provocative. That said, it's also worth noting that John Carmack decided to condemn the whole guilt by association fallacy that woke activists have been using to try to cancel him in this situation. As he stated, quote, "I'm not a culture warrior and I don't want to strike blows against anyone. I don't follow activists on either side, including Rob, because I tend to think that all the negativity and resentment is detrimental to both the author and target." In other words, John Carmack is saying that he is politically neutral as far as that is concerned, though he is of course known for being a bit more on the libertarian side as far as his own personal politics are concerned. But again, his statement here can be summed up as, yes, he knows that the con is a bit provocative in nature, but by the same token, it's not exactly an alt-right propaganda platform either. And in addition to that, you shouldn't judge people just for attending that particular convention, as he, for example, wishes to remain politically neutral as far as the culture war is concerned because he sees it as ultimately detrimental. So ultimately, he just wants to be left alone as far as that's concerned. And ultimately, neutrality is something that I believe should be respected. I do believe with this statement that John Carmack is legitimately trying to remain neutral, and it honestly should be his right to do so. People should not be forced to have an opinion on absolutely everything at all times, especially if it's something that they don't even particularly want to be involved in the first place. In fact, discussing the matter from a strategic point of view, I would have to take up the position that perhaps one of the biggest weaknesses of all for the far left has been their absolute disregard of neutrality at all, by claiming that being neutral means automatically siding with the status quo, or as they sometimes alternatively say, quote, "silence is violence." This is of course a result of the everything is political mindset produced by the Marxist theory of empire, which of course takes up the position that everything is not only political but also propaganda. And yes, this line of reasoning is used to try to argue that everything should therefore become pro-Marxist propaganda. But there are two very specific reasons why I believe this is such a disastrous idea from a strategic point of view. First of all, by not respecting neutrality, what happens is the people that would normally stay neutral would feel pressured and compelled to take a side, and chances are they're going to take the side against the people that were pressuring them to become involved in politics. Ultimately, the people who think everything is political and thus do that only manage to achieve to make more enemies for themselves, which on its own is a pretty bad idea. But then we get into the second reason why this is a strategic disaster, that being that it forces the people who think that way to have an opinion on literally everything at all times, instead of being smart and picking and choosing their own political battles. If you ever wondered why far-left activists have picked some of the worst hills possible to die on, such as defending Balenciaga during the Balenciaga scandal, well, it's specifically because of that everything is political mindset. This is especially the case when tribalism gets involved as well, because woke activists can't have the other side win after all, meaning that they must take up a position on literally anything, even if the position is utterly indefensible, and even if the information currently available is utterly inadequate to make any solid conclusions. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is that arguing that everything is political is an absolutely terrible idea. And yes, neutrality should be considered sacred and respected. And all of that is to say that John Carmack's position should be respected as well. And on that subject, I will of course be leaving links in the description below to both of John Carmack's tweets here, so you can check them out for yourself if you should so desire. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.